it's your first edition as a festival director, and you've got a new venue, the Kriterion. It seems like fresh beginnings for you. And what would audiences who have been to the previous editions expect from this one that's new?
What we're doing new this year is that I'm trying to diversify what Cinemasia is to audiences here in the Netherlands. And so the programming has a very conscious decision of programming things that would fit sort of like everybody. So we have the big blockbuster by Trey Hart, and then we have this beautiful intimate film from the Philippines called Shift that is just wonderfully charming. So we have like the spectrum. We have our action films, and then we have our sort of like dramas, and then we have films about food, films about music, just trying to enlarge the spectrum of what Asian cinema could be and show that there are the very diverse stories that come from Asia these days. People ask me, what is Asian cinema? I said, there's no real sort of like unifying sort of like factor of what is Asian cinema, and the same would apply for what is European cinema. We also have Jean-Jacques Arnaud coming to the festival, who is the director of The Last Wolf. He also did films like 7 Years in Tibet, In the Name of the Rose, The Lover, The Bear, and he's coming for the opening, and we're really excited about that. And we also have a panel where he's going to talk about a little into the making of this film, because it's not an easy film. He didn't use CGI on the wolves at all. He used real wolves for this film, which is something very, very rare in this time and age. Like, there was hardly any CGI shots on the film, and so when you see it on the big screen, it's real, and you can feel the wolves, and you can see them, and there's real sort of like energy and emotion that you can experience because it's real. It's not sort of like drawn or computer generated, so it's a whole different feeling. It feels like you're going to watch a film from a different era. But also The Taking of Tiger Mountain by Trey Hart that we're showing in 3D at the Eye on the 4th of April is something I feel is going to be spectacular. It's the European premiere for the film. It's not been shown yet. It was one of the biggest box office hits of China last year, and Trey Hart, who did such classic sort of like action blockbusters, is back with a vengeance. There's amazing things in there. I was going through the testing the other day, and it sort of like really rocks and blows you away, and I'm really glad we can program it, because I've worked with Trey Hart's producer for a couple of years when I was in Hong Kong, and she's like, yeah, let's show the film. I really like the 4 short films that we have. One is actually the winner that was from Berlinale, the shorts Golden Bear from Berlin, and we have the shorts winner from Venice, and we have one that was in competition in Berlin and one that was in Clermont-Ferrand, and I must say that they are amongst my favorite films in the festival. They are really, really sweet, and especially like Yu, which is without dialogue whatsoever, and it's like a trance that you go into when you watch this film. Or Fun. We're funny, we're all these like double syllable films, and it's about this girl who anthropology student, and she's like, she wants to know how men and women the relationship, how it sometimes is in a very unequal power situation. So she wanted to go and work in a a hostess bar, where she dressed up like a playboy girl, and it's really sweet, the film. I was kind of like, we had certain friends just send us links, and it was very random, and I was watching it and I was very moved by it, the end of it. Really sort of like, you sometimes watch a film and you go, yeah, it really sort of like touches you very deeply, and you think about it for a long time after that, and that was one of the films that did that to me.
All right. Would you tell us a little bit about the Film Lab project? The
Film Lab is something we initiated 6 years ago, that we really wanted to work with filmmakers here in the Netherlands to tell sort of like more Asian stories. So every year we come up with a theme, and this year we have rituals. And 3 of the shorts. We have 1 documentary and 2 sort of like fiction short, and it's really something that we feel that would enable us to do what Cinemasia wants to do, is to create more dialogue and discussion and awareness about the representation of Asian stories in the Netherlands, and something that allows us to start building bridges with the younger generation of filmmakers here. One is about being all the different Indonesian sort of like that are here in Holland. So there's 4 different strands that I look at: the Indo, the Moluccans, those that came from Suriname, and those that are sort of like a few generations down the road. So you see the various spectrum. For me, that being new here, it was really good to get an insight into that.
So one of the recent Korean directors who's made the crossover is Hong Sang-soo with In Another Country. A producer that he's worked with regularly is Oh Jung-wan, who you've profiled for this festival as an In Focus program.
Yep.
I was wondering if you could describe to us who she is and the films that you're showing.
I would say that Oh Jung-wan is the queen of the film industry in Korea, because she knows everyone. She's worked with the top directors there. She's one of those early pioneers of sort of like producers driving the renaissance of new wave in Korea. So she's produced Kim Ji-woon, Lee Jae-young, Park Chan-wook, and a number of Hong Sang-soo. So she's really one of the most prolific producers in Korea. And we're very good friends. One of the reasons why I also wanted to do it was, I think being a producer is a very tough job, and being a female producer in Korea is even tougher. So I wanted to also give opportunities to spotlight people and who are not often highlighted, because a lot of festivals would focus on directors or actors. Producers are important too. All 3 of them that we have in the In Focus program. A Tale of Two Sisters is a classic Korean horror film. It's been remade in America. A Bitterweet Life is one of the most sort of like, I would call it even a little bit of a cult Korean classic now. And of course, Untold Scandal. Who doesn't want to see sort of like sex during Chosun Dynasty, right? So yeah, I thought, and we have them all on 35mm too, so that's brilliant. And I'm really happy because I've never seen them on 35 myself, so I'm really sort of like, wow, in full celluloid glory. April 1st to 6th in Amsterdam. Check out cinemasia.nl, and I hope to see you at the festival.
Thank you.